We're good? We're live? We're hot. The microphones are hot.
Do it live.
Hot. What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we are. What? Welcome to a...
You look so happy.
You haven't listened to the most recent episode, right?
Not yet.
Okay, Brian talked for like 40 words in the whole episode. It was like worse than an Eric episode.
Oh, no.
It wasn't worse than an Eric episode. Nothing's worse.
He talked in that last episode.
Who, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. He opened up.
Did you get him drunk first?
No.
No,
he
we
had
should
a
do
beer.
that.
He had a beer.
You did.
Loosened up in the car.
I'd
gotta
still want to
lubricate 'em.
do find a way to do one because you did it before where you guys went through like a bottle of Fireball or something.
Oh,
Yeah, we could do
God.
that again.
Like,
No.
let me.
Game of Thrones.
We'll all bring something and like every 15 minutes or 10 minutes take a shot and then see how it devolves from
No,
there.
okay.
Blah, blah, blah. That's what it's-
Since you're saying that, what we'll do is we'll do an unedited episode because I'm not going to edit 2 hours, and we'll all bring our own bottle of booze. You can bring tequila,
Yeah,
and we'll just.
Is that like your thing now?
it's the only liquor I like.
Okay.
Tequila is prone to get you more naked.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Like, have you tried gin? I think gin would be something you would like.
Bring gin and I'll try it. Actually, I had
Do you like
I
camping?
had something with gin in it at Shout House and I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was a big streak. Do you like camping?
Camping?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like the art of
Gin
camping?
gin reminds you of camping with the juniper berry.
Talking to the damn mic,
The
Alan.
juniper berry.
There you go.
I can hear me. You can't hear me?
Barely, but
He don't like it.
as the expert
Yes.
in the room,
As
of
the
expert,
The talent.
the talent, I have to edit these, and sometimes you can't hear it coming out of the. Well, I guess you re-listen to the episodes. You know how they sound.
Yeah, I do.
No, but we'll do that, and I'll come up with some sort of game where the loser has to drink. Fair
I
enough.
have
Sure.
a drinking game, but it involves forcing you to watch a movie.
What movie?
Monster Squad.
Yes.
See. Okay. Have you
I
ever,
have very specific rules for the drinking game for that movie.
Yes.
Have you ever not wanted to watch something just because somebody wants you to
Oh,
watch it so badly?
100%. But
That is totally Robert with this movie.
I get that.
Granted,
But,
I tried to get Brian to watch Army of Darkness, and he completely wouldn't give it a chance.
yeah,
So,
I don't remember that either.
and I'm sure you.
do you like Army of Darkness more or less than Monster Squad?
I like Army of Darkness more.
Okay.
So maybe we have to watch both of those in the same day.
If I watch Army of Darkness, will you watch Monster Squad?
Like, you can't have your phone.
All right.
Well, I know you lost that bet to him all that time ago where you were supposed to watch it.
Yes.
And
That was a while.
as a
That was like
gentleman,
2
you
years
should
ago.
never
I was just watching the
renege on your
original
bets.
It, and that hasn't happened either.
Yeah.
Well, that's a mini series. That's long. You gotta break it up.
I'm also not going to go out of my way to buy something that I.
All I'm saying is I own it.
I own it too.
I
Are
have
you
a drinking game
Are you
to
sure
it.
it's yours?
Yes,
And
it's mine.
I can imbibe.
Asshole.
I can get you drunk.
I don't know if I want to. What was that game you brought? You didn't bring over a game before you moved away and we stopped talking. We played some game where you weren't allowed to say what the rules were out
Yeah,
loud.
Mao. Yeah, it's because it's named after Mao Zedong. Because when he took over China, he changed all the laws and didn't tell anybody.
Okay.
And so you found out after you were arrested and penalized. I
So, do you
forgot
still
I
know
taught you that game. Oh, absolutely, I know
Still
that
the
game.
rules?
Oh yeah,
We should play that game.
that game will just make you mad and quit.
It did.
Yeah.
It made me mad. I was like, what the fuck? I think that might have been the last time I talked to you for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. And I tell people you have to.
Is that how you end your friendships? Is that we're going to play this game?
Well,
Or Risk.
Friendship is over.
Monopoly is what does that.
Yes.
Yeah, Monopoly ends friendships.
No, that ends families.
Oh, yeah. But no,
Say Russian roulette ends families.
I play it with the with the disclaimer that you really can't get butthurt about this game. Like you just have to
Well, then don't play with it, Anthony.
be patient and roll with it.
Anthony?
Yes.
Because what you get so angry, you're supposed to learn by getting the penalties
By doing?
and
Yes.
you paying attention. And the angrier you get, the less that you do,
Okay.
and it just becomes a cycle.
So it's
But,
like you really are in prison.
Yeah, you have to pay attention.
When we did that movie argument game, I did finish 97% of a bottle of Fireball that night. So, no, we could do that. And by the end, I was just yelling. So
That's fine.
I'm down with that, but it has to be a bigger group of people than 4.
I think we can make that happen.
How about spring break?
When does the spring break happen?
April. Towards the end.
Yeah.
There's a holiday around that, right? Some sort
Easter.
Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing.
We'll do some sort of Jesus game.
Jesus.
Watch
game.
The Passion.
Like pin the nails on the cross.
No,
Like,
I was
what
thinking
kinda...
maybe
Life of
we
Brian?
can all watch Katrina almost die from alcohol poisoning and see her
Yes.
wake up the next day.
Yeah, that would happen.
I'll
You're on a call out streak this evening.
Yeah.
I will bring IV bags and medicine.
Someone's car is going off.
Yeah. Anybody here? Car going off?
My keys are right there. You can see if it's mine.
I can't see. I took my glasses off.
Like, will your lights be flashing? Oh,
was
must be you.
Alan's. Nice. Oh.
Party foul.
Well, this will be our first of the great movie challenge.
The essential movie.
The essential movie viewing thing. This one is on Patreon. So if you're listening, thank you. We appreciate your donation. It helps make the podcast better.
You are quite attractive
Yeah.
and appealing to the eye.
I like what you're doing there with the jeans. You're wearing the hell out of those jeans. Not you, Brian. I can't see you over there. Like I said, wearing headphones. I don't have my glasses.
But he is wearing jeans.
I am wearing
so
jeans.
nice
He
call.
always wears jeans. It's either jeans or gym shorts.
Pretty much.
I had a 50% chance.
Or jorts.
You have any jorts?
So when I was in
Okay.
middle school one year, literally, like I would say about 95% of the time, the only thing I wore was Quicksilver t-shirts and jean shorts. That's what I
Interesting.
felt comfortable in.
Okay,
That's fine.
I'm gonna promote this on our non-Patreon episode. That you're gonna have to listen to this to hear what I'm about to say. And I've never told this story anywhere, even to Katrina.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
And it's not really a long story. And some kid ended up making fun of me about these shorts, but I wore them for like a year before I stopped wearing them. I had these like green, almost.
Are they like ball shorts?
No.
God damn it.
I had these green, and it was almost like sweatpant fabric, but it wasn't. And they were green, but underneath they were like these. There was another short that were gray, and they were like longer. So it's like
The culottes?
I don't know what they were. I've never seen them again.
Double layered shorts?
Yeah, but like the gray layer was like 3 inches longer than the green layer.
Okay.
So they came out, but like I hit a growth spurt, so they looked like spandex. So I had these big fat legs, and somebody made fun of me really bad about them one day, and I got really upset. But they were the horrible, horrible shorts, and I was embarrassed. I had to be in like 7th grade.
So did you like these shorts before the
I
growth
did.
spurt? Okay.
A lot. They were like my favorite shirt. Everybody has like a
So
favorite.
you were like in denial that you could not wear them anymore.
Yes. Everybody has like a favorite pair of shorts, right?
Yeah.
Favorite item of clothing.
Yes.
What's yours?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Any of my yoga pants and a shirt.
See, that's not fair. Like, I can't just wear yoga pants.
I mean, you could.
I
You
don't think.
could.
I think they make yoga pants
Do
with
they?
room for the balls, yeah.
Maybe I'll have to
The
try
little
those
pouch.
out. Do they?
A little
sure-
pouch.
I'm sure they do.
Big
It could
pouch?
be a pouch like in Clockwork Orange. Maybe it's
A
room
cod-
for
a cod catcher?
Yeah, maybe it's room for a cod catcher. You like that?
Yeah.
That's one of the movies we're going to be talking about here momentarily.
Ooh, you could pull off leggings or jean leggings.
Jeggings.
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 I don't know what my favorite pair are right now of shorts, because I wear like I have 7 pairs of the same shorts in different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 2 colors.
Gray and dark gray.
Aren't they blue? They're blue.
Are they blue?
Yes.
Oh, I think I'm well. We have our resident 9 to 5 nerds medical professional, and you don't have to give it. This isn't advice. I'm just saying because this is optometry.
Cargo shorts are A-okay.
I don't like cargo shorts anymore. No pockets on the side. No, your eyes, the way the cones are in your eyes, some people see color differently.
Yeah.
Some people are colorblind, but if I close one eye and look through different eyes, the colors are different because I mean no part of your body is exactly the same, but both my eyes see colors almost drastically differently.
Well, just with the shoe thing that we were looking at the other night, you were like freaking out about that.
That was weird. Okay, we talked about the dress thing before and all the stupid color things.
What dressing?
There was a dress and
Oh,
the way
yeah,
it was-
yeah. I was on that episode, yeah.
Yeah, well, somebody
That-
did
that
with
was us.
shoes this week, and it was teal and gray, and Katrina saw pink and white. And I looked at it, I couldn't see the pink and the white, and they're actually pink and white. Are you looking it up?
Yes.
But there was somebody that put a filter on it, and as soon as I looked at the filter, my eyes immediately shifted to the pink and white.
Okay.
And when I'm scrolling through the pictures, I can see the green and gray, but when I stop, it turns pink to white.
And I couldn't see the green and gray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bring it up.
No,
That's
it's not worth it.
No, but this is going to be our first great movie watch.
I guess we should probably start off with how it began.
We kicked it off.
And we all like movies. I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
And we did the top 200?
Yeah. And I mean, I got the idea from this YouTube show I watch, and it's kind of been. I don't make New Year's resolutions, and this is my New Year's resolution, was to knock off a bunch of movies that
You probably should have seen by now.
that I should have seen but haven't yet. And I went to this list just to kind of help have an organized thing, because there's too many movies to remember sometimes, and it's nice to have something tangible in front of you. And we went through the list, and what do? We marked down who's not seen what, and then we're starting with the ones that collectively the most people haven't seen.
But we did nothing that came out within the last 5 years. We were kind of pushing it back. Although Fury Road, we made a few exceptions.
Yeah, Moonlight and Fury Road.
Here's the picture if you want to look at. What do you see?
Okay, I see pink and white.
I see blue and gray.
I can see blue and gray now. Yeah, just gotta turn it.
Yeah. You saw this one?
Yes. But like when I see it there in your phone, it looks pink and white from this distance.
Yeah, but when there's white around it, I see gray and teal.
See, I think it's just like there's a filter and it looks a little bit more shaded.
Well, yeah, because even the guy's hand or whoever's holding it is a different color.
The point is, people are terrible photographers.
Yeah,
it really
for
is.
sure.
Just go see it in person to know what color your shoes are.
Frame it in the proper light if you're going to take pictures of your clothing, for crying out loud.
Yeah. But we went through this huge list of movies, and we're going to do an episode. And they're not always going to be on Patreon, but I figured the first one should go to our lovely patrons. So we're going to watch a couple of the movies, and we're gonna come chit-chat about them a little bit. And we ended up we were going to do 2 and then talk, but we ended up watching 3. So we watched Moonlight.
Yep.
Mad Max Fury Road, and A Clockwork Orange.
Should we talk about who hasn't seen the movies?
I hadn't seen Moonlight. None of us had seen Moonlight.
None of us seen Moonlight, right?
Brian had already seen it.
Yes.
But he didn't watch it with us again.
No.
Alan hadn't seen Fury Road, and we all watched it together, didn't we?
Yes.
Were you here? Mm-hmm. And then Alan and I had seen A Clockwork Orange, but Brian and Katrina hadn't.
We had started to watch it,
But you didn't remember it, so.
but I didn't remember it.
So
we do have a massive list, and there are a lot of movies that we're probably not going to watch because they're going to be hard to
find,
especially those foreign ones. So maybe some of your patrons and fans in the Twitterverse tweet your suggestions at 9to5nerds.
Yeah, we're absolutely willing to. You can shoot a movie at me on Twitter at 9to5nerds, or Instagram, which is also 9to5nerds now, or Facebook, which is 9to5nerds, or our email, which is 9to5nerds at Outlook.
You have your own. It's robert.9to5nerds@gmail.
Okay, there's that. And you can shoot a movie that you'd like us to watch, and I will let you know personally who of us have seen it. As long as 2 of us haven't seen it, we'll watch it.
Yeah.
If 3 of us have seen it, then we're not going to watch it. And Corey's not going to be involved in these. He's
got better things to do, apparently.
that guy's checked out on like half of this stuff. So that's a whole behind the scenes thing that if you would like to talk about it, we can. But we'll leave that. Maybe we'll corner him on an on-air episode. That's a regular, not Patreon episode one of these days. But we watched A Clockwork Orange, the most recent, so I want to talk about that last.
Okay.
So
you want to start with Moonlight?
Let's start with Moonlight, because that was the oldest one we watched. I think the thing that strikes you the quickest on that, and we just watched part of the Oscars tonight, is that Mahershala Ali, Mahershala Ali won an Oscar for that and was in it for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
He was really good in that role.
He was great.
I like him a lot as an actor.
He was definitely the strongest point in that.
Well, him having to tell him that he was basically selling his mom crack.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm the reason why you're.
Or
Well, in watching her deteriorate, because at the beginning of the movie she doesn't look like a crackhead.
No, she's
she
in
still looks
scrubs,
like
too.
She's a functional member of society.
Yeah.
And
Stay away from my kid. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be home. What are you doing with him?
And there's that balance between him not telling him that he's gay.
And letting him decide.
And letting him find out on his own, but also supporting him because nobody else is supporting him. And
Right.
obviously, even when he's gone, they never say how he goes away, right?
I'm assuming he died horrifically.
they mentioned something about a funeral.
Right.
But that his girlfriend or whoever Ali's person was in his life for an extended period of time because he was
Still going over there.
He was still going over there. But I liked the movie. It was good. I wanted a few. I don't know why, but I wanted a few more minutes at the end for some reason.
Yeah, I thought the transition between acts with the use of the color filter was a really cool way to transition the jump in time for the main character. But yeah, I thought the third act was. I thought it was too long. It needed less time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I felt like it dragged on, especially once him
Get in
and
the
Handjob
diner?
friend met at the diner. Yeah, it just went on a bit too long.
I think that was just to create and build tension.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, he's really acknowledging this part of his life
For the first time.
for the first time instead of kind of just putting it behind a closet door.
and keeping it. Yeah, because
I mean, it was nice to see the development between him and his friend because it was his only friend, basically.
Right.
And I don't really have. I didn't think the last act dragged on. I did. I thought it was kind of slowly building towards admitting that both these guys are gay. And I'm assuming none of us are gay.
No.
And I'm assuming that that's a really difficult thing to come to terms with, especially in that culture that he was growing up in.
Being a black man
Yeah, being
in South Florida.
like, I mean,
well, even then too, even in the criminal circles too. That's
not hard.
yeah. That's he's got to look out for his street cred. I mean, because he
He's
became
running
the
drugs.
one thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not low level. He's like mid level. He's almost a
Distributor.
shot caller. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to maintain that because any sign of weakness can then, somebody else who's ambitious can use that against you and
Right.
topple your.
absolutely.
So it's definitely like at risk of life and injury. Admitting that. That's why he moved to Georgia.
Well, he
After
moved to
got out of
Georgia because
after he got out of juvie.
I think he got sent there for juvie.
I don't think they can send you out of state.
Well, he was considering the state that he was in, his mom was in no position to support him, or
He would have been a ward of the state of
Right.
Florida at that point, but they wouldn't ship him to another state.
Oh, I don't know.
I think. I don't know.
It's Florida.
Yeah, Florida does what the hell they want to do.
You have more
people.
experience with them than I do. I just have a.
They play fast and loose with people's lives.
It's a weird place, man.
I'm still dealing with the Florida state that I've never driven through, paying a toll on a car that's not mine.
See,
Yeah,
they'll
weird.
just do whatever the hell they want to.
Florida is a strange place.
That's the
I
reason
mean,
why it's America's wang.
Florida is a great, great state, and all the people there are amazing.
Please don't hurt me.
Especially your 9 to
because-
5 nerd listeners.
It's because it is one of the top 3 downloaded places of our podcast. So thank you, Florida. No, you live there. You know it's weird.
I'm assuming if there's places and states that are oversaturated in certain areas, they may set up, transitions between other states
Yeah.
that maybe are lacking in resources. So,
Yeah, and I want to say, I think when he was on the phone with his buddy, when they were reconnecting over the phone, he's like, "Yeah, I moved to Georgia after I got out, and now I'm in Atlanta,
Okay.
and I'm doing what
And he
I
got
do."
jacked.
Yeah, he got ripped.
Yeah, that was a big dude.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure that happened while he was
prison sculpted.
inside.
Yeah. No, it's not a movie I would have just went and watched, but since we are, I know it had a lot of hype at the Oscars that year, and now that we're doing this movie thing, I know I'm gonna end up watching a lot of movies I wouldn't have
Normally watched.
normally watched, and I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
I like the use of color. It was
Yeah.
really well done.
That poem in the beginning about where he's talking about when he's taking him to the beach and teaching him how to swim in the moonlight. That was I thought was kind of stupid, but then it kind of made sense.
At the end?
Well, not even at the end. At the end of every act,
Okay.
because it was like that's where they
Yeah.
hooked up in the middle. That's kind of how it ends as well. So
Well, water was the main theme.
yeah,
There
and
was
it made for a good use of transition.
On a separate, maybe comical note, I don't know if a hand job on the beach is something you want. There is a lot of sand.
Well, I think they showed up blunt first. I think his hand was dry, and then you finish, and then he wiped it in the sand after. Remember?
Yeah, but have you been to the beach? Sand gets everywhere no matter what.
Yeah.
If you haven't had a
shit's not
hot
come
dog,
off.
I'm not trying to throw this in there. If you haven't had a hot dog with sand in it at the beach,
No, I just think of that GIF you constantly see.
yeah,
hot dogs getting thrown at a face.
Yeah.
But I mean, sand is everywhere at the
nostalgia
beach,
chick.
and it only takes a few grains, and you're getting a hand job, and it's going to be very uncomfortable.
Well, it becomes very rigorous. Maybe he's into that.
At that point in his life, he didn't know what he was into yet.
Yeah, that's true. He was just.
I mean, not only male or female, but I mean, he's denying. Part of him's trying to deny what his
Feelings he has.
the feelings that he has. Yeah, no.
it was pretty cool watching him break that chair over that.
That was
Yes.
awesome.
That guy was a
Oh.
dick.
It's probably been about 2 years since I've seen this movie, so I'm just kind of along for the ride. You didn't watch Bird Box, did you?
No.
Okay. The guy who plays the oldest version he's in that movie too.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
The only thing you
only
remember the whole
thing.
movie?
I mean, I remember the gist of it, but it's been a minute, and I probably was distracted at the time.
Phone.
Yeah, it's half in, half out.
Oh, hand job on the beach.
We got to make a thing that when we watch these things for this great movie challenge,
Phones go away.
we just can't have a phone,
Yeah.
or you can't have a phone unless it buzzes in your case, and then you can pick it up. But it's tough getting into a movie, and I am guilty of exactly the same thing. It's tough getting into a movie when we're all addicted to our phones in one way or another. It's all of us, not just you.
Yeah. No, I mean I was doing it last night.
Yeah, I was too. But both of us had seen it, and I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah,
It's been a
same
while.
here. Plus, I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, since this is our first episode of this, do you want to give the movie ratings?
Oh, I don't know.
I know what you're gonna give it.
A sandwich?
B.
A B?
B.
I'm smiling.
You're thinking hard.
I'm not.
How about as simple if you liked it or you didn't like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
can you do like a pass fail?
Yeah, I'm okay with the pass. I liked it. I
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Like, if you had an opportunity, would you recommend it to somebody?
Overall,
Yeah, I'd recommend it to somebody, but I'd say I wouldn't go into detail about the movie, but I would give them
It's
a
worth
little
your time?
synopsis of what's going on, because I don't have a lot of people in my life that are
cinephiles.
anti-gay, but
Yeah.
I do know some people that makes them uncomfortable,
You make that. You gotta
which
know your
isn't
audience.
me at all. But I wouldn't recommend that movie to them.
Sure.
Okay. That's fair.
But yeah, I would recommend the movie to most people I know if they hadn't seen it. Katrina?
I would agree. I like the movie overall. At some points, it did feel like it was dragging a little bit, but other than that, I did enjoy it. I probably would watch it again to kind of catch a few more things.
No, I can see now.
Okay.
I don't like wearing my glasses and
always
my
helpful.
headphones for long periods of time. It hurts.
The pain.
Brian, next. I'm in your book, Katrina. I'd have to watch it again, but it's a good enough movie. I would be like, hey, if you want to watch something interesting.
It won best film that year, right?
No,
Yes.
La La. Oh, yes,
No,
yeah,
it
yeah,
did
yeah,
win.
yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
That's how I won the bet
Yeah. Oh yeah, huh?
because it was La La.
It
And
was
then like,
and I lost by 1 point.
Yep,
Ugh. Musicals.
I haven't seen La La Land.
that was a
Yeah.
good movie.
Ugh.
I'm not big or see. I don't consider Disney movies musical, even though there's songs in them.
I do.
You do. They're animated movies that happen to have
Family
songs in them.
movies. That's where I classify them.
Yeah, I guess. I'm also not a
Bitter?
child or have a child.
Did you like them as a child? Yeah,
Not really.
You came out of the womb bitter, bitter and hardened
With a cane,
with chops.
with a slight limp.
Yeah.
Pass or fail, good or bad?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
It definitely. What else was it up against besides La La Land? I think.
What was it? 2017?
Yeah.
You can look at Oscars for just best film, and it'll tell you who it was up against. Like poor Liam Neeson, up for Schindler in Schindler's List, and didn't win because he had to go into the buzzsaw that was Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That was his one shot to win an Oscar.
Sometimes but there are also years where
La La
garbage
Land,
movies win, like Crash.
I
Arrival,
liked Crash.
Lion, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Hacksaw Ridge, Manchester by the Sea, Fences, besides Moonlight.
That was a good
I remember
year for
liking
movies.
Crash.
Hacksaw Ridge was okay. Yeah, it wasn't really up against a lot of heavy hitters, so yeah, it was clear.
Well, Manchester by the Sea won quite a few things, but it had the Casey Affleck backlash against it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Didn't stop him from getting the award.
No.
Far and away, though, that was, yeah.
Hell or High Water is
Probably
on
one of the
Netflix
better
now. I
movies
really
on
want
that
to
list.
watch it. I haven't seen it yet. That's supposed to be really good.
You liked Crash?
I remember liking Crash, but it's been so long since I've seen it. Is that the one that has the different stories in the same?
Yeah, and they all converge.
You don't like movies like that either?
No, I do. I don't have a problem with ensemble films. It just, I didn't like that one.
I remember liking it, but I
liked it
haven't
a
seen
lot.
it in a while.
Yeah, it's not a fan.
Was that on the list of movies?
No. I think a good chunk of them were Best Picture, but not all of them were Best Picture winners, which I probably wouldn't be. How many Best Pictures have you seen?
Not a ton.
Have you seen
We
the
watched-
recent ones?
We watched Capote. Didn't that
We
win
did.
Best Picture?
We watched that.
So the next movie would be Mad Max Fury Road.
Should we publish the list or publish a link to the list? And
You're more than welcome to write it out
Or type it
by hand.
on a typewriter, like old school.
I'm just gonna copy and paste.
Like Ron Swanson finds that typewriter.
Delete all pictures of Alan.
But the next movie would be Mad Max Fury Road, which who here has seen all the Mad Max movies?
I have.
Just
Nope.
Alan.
Really?
That is the only one
Really?
I've seen.
Yeah, it's the only one I've seen too.
Same.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And I had tried to.
I mean, I wanted to see it. I just never got around to seeing it, and
I've done that with the other Mad Max movies
yeah.
that have been around since before I
You
was
can-
born.
You can get away with not seeing Mad Max. The Road Warrior is worth watching. And Beyond Thunderdome, you can take it early.
Apparently, I can get away with just watching this one.
That too, yeah. I think out of the other Mad Max movies, Road Warrior is probably the better one,
Okay.
and the one I like out of those three. I really did. I didn't expect to like Fury Road as much as I did. It's like a typical Mad Max movie. Plot's not great.
My biggest complaint, and I had this argument with Corey because Corey fucking loves this movie. And my biggest complaint is they went all the way through the desert to get those women. And
Turn
then
around and go back.
to turn around and go back, and all the women died except for like, I don't know, maybe one or two. It's like I get they go back. What's his name? Immortal Joe. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Immortal. It's is it Immortal Joe?
That
Or
was
is it
Immortal Joe.
Is it
I thought it was. I think it's Immortal Joe.
okay? He dies, so they give water to everybody, and everybody has access to buoy milk and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but that's kind of an overarching theme in a lot of the Mad Max movies. In Thunderdome, they go to find this paradise with some children, and it doesn't exist.
So you're gonna have to. We just watched this recently. So the goal of that movie was for them to go find the older women.
Well, there's supposed to be like a paradise or
They were smuggling the women out to get to the older women so they could go to some kind of paradise.
that didn't exist.
So they found the older women in not a paradise.
That's why.
Immortan.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't think it was Immortal. I thought it was Immortan, but I didn't. That's not a word.
Immortan. IMMORTAN.
Is that a word?
No, but it's.
It is
Imagine
their
since
word.
society has devolved. I mean,
Yes.
what a glorious day!
My biggest positive I have in that movie is character design and practical effects. The amount of like they built all those vehicles.
Set design,
visual
everything
Yeah,
about
aspect.
that movie was a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, it is.
That is the definition of a really good popcorn movie. That's a really good popcorn movie.
Yeah,
you don't have to think about it.
You just watch.
It's a basic plot. You just watch, and it's eye candy. It is incredibly beautiful. You haven't seen Desertscapes look that good since Lawrence of Arabia.
Wish I haven't seen
seen
that
it.
either.
Well, it's also on the list.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Isn't it a super long movie?
It is.
It's long. Well, I mean, what's super long to you? Longer
3
than
hours
2
plus.
hours?
Like he doesn't
Yeah,
like
it's greater than
Casino.
3.
Okay.
It's
Anything
too long.
greater
Like
than-
Casino?
It's too long for
No.
him.
Joe Pesci
I
getting a blowjob?
I don't like it.
Oh, man.
Don't like it. Not a Braveheart fan.
I've never seen it.
Barely touches 3 hours.
I'm not saying in length. I'm just saying there's movies that everybody seems to like that I don't.
But you love Gettysburg.
I've never seen it.
The movie's like 5 hours long.
Is it?
It has an intermission.
What?
That's how long it is. I saw it in theaters with my grandparents. It had an intermission.
Wow.
We went to an 8 o'clock showing. I didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
my god!
I was Parker's age.
Nice. Did you fall asleep?
Yes. That movie was boring.
I fell asleep at a dinner
To an
table.
8-year-old, that movie was boring.
Yeah, I fell asleep at a dinner table in Hawaii because we had dinner at like 10 o'clock at night, and it's like a self-cooked place. Sorry,
All right.
that was my relation to that story.
That made me think. Have you ever seen So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing that would you rather thing, and the girl goes, being electrocuted. And everybody's like, what? And they're like, well, my friend got electrocuted one time and it was really bad. And they're like, all right. Side note on that, when I saw that movie, I thought she said being electrocution, not being electrocuted. And I was like, what the fuck is being
Like electrocuting a bean?
yeah. And I was like, have you ever seen that movie? So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen it?
No,
I like that movie. I watched it a lot as a kid.
That's a funny. You might like it. You like 90s movies, right?
It's,
Do you get the 90s nostalgia hard on that everyone has?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know what. At this point, I don't know what you get a hard on for,
Oh,
Katrina.
okay.
It's,
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah, it's Mike Myers and Nancy Travis. And Mike Myers also plays his own father.
it's
Of
like the
course he
first.
does.
Yeah, it's the first time of him doing like he
Multi
plays a
roles.
very Scottish father.
Very Scottish father.
Okay.
And it, yeah,
And the guy who plays the kid with the big head.
yeah.
He was in something recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Recently?
Last time I was over here, we noticed it. What were we?
You know what I noticed? How as many times as we've all watched The Office, which is a lot.
Yeah.
When they're doing the career day where they're at the high school, the kid that comes up to
And signs the paper.
the Dunder Mifflin booth is the kid from Basketball that's Coop shooting the
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I was like, is that fucking
Whose liver smells like Robert Downey Jr.?
yeah 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 what I heard that in Fury Road that Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy did like not get along at all.
But weren't they professional about it in the sense that
Yeah
they did their job?
I've heard that Tom Hardy isn't the easiest person to get along with and
Does he have Daniel Day-Lewis syndrome where he's
method
Method
actor.
actor?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he could just be kind of a dick. But you know, when I worked with him, it was perfectly fine. We didn't have any problems. What was
okay.
that?
It's your
I
cat.
have no idea.
It was your cat.
We don't have a cat.
It was whatever you had on top
If
of your
there's a
couch.
fucking cat here, it's dying.
Katrina hates cats.
I don't like cats.
She doesn't get a
I
hard
think
on
it's
for
some sort of
cats.
remote control.
We're gonna have a reoccurring joke about you getting a hard on,
Okay,
All right.
that's fine.
like a big fat erect dick.
Okay,
Because we all meant a literal hard
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
does it for you.
Yeah,
on. Well,
big dicks. I was,
title of your sex tape.
Yeah, I was listening to. I was not mine. It would be well below average.
Well, I was gonna say getting pegged by a big dick
Yeah.
is the title of your
Yeah.
sex tape.
We've bought a lot of those those extension things you can put over your small penis that strap on.
We're going there
What?
now,
Yeah.
huh?
Those are real things. I didn't know they were real.
And your sex life has never been better.
It's great, right, Katrina?
What are you talking about? What do you mean that's a real thing?
What? No, those are things. They are.
Sad.
They have penis extensions for men with small penises.
Okay.
No, that's like a real thing.
Okay.
Well, you're smiling. You didn't know these were real things?
I did not know that was a real thing.
Yeah. I was reading a story earlier that this girl was dating this guy for 6 months, and he was very old-fashioned, refused to have sex until they got married. So they got engaged at 6 months. 6 months later, they got married, and when they went to have sex for the first time, she found out that he had a micro penis, which is a real thing. I mean, it's a legitimate, not a disease, but maybe
State of
body
being.
deformation. I don't know what that's considered. What is that considered?
I don't know.
A micro penis?
It did not come
Body
across his
malformation.
studies.
Yeah, I mean,
You are the resident. Like, if we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to open up a town here. There's gonna be a town, and people have general, like, okay. I don't like to do the zombie apocalypse thing, but if there was apocalypse and it was us left, you'd be the medical professional.
you know, it's funny because I had a patient who was a prepper and gave me his card.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, shit goes down, come here.
Where was it?
It's in Arizona.
Are you gonna go check it out?
Yeah,
Really?
sure.
We should do a podcast from there.
We would never come back.
It was. There's this.
Yeah, the world has to have entertainers. You could probably finagle your way in.
That's a hostage situation.
Yeah. I've seen how these things go down. When the bombs fly, I hope one lands right on my house.
Yep. Let us go right away.
Right at the beginning. Do you want to live through all that?
Through what, like a nuclear war?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well, I mean, technically, none of us would, because the resulting nuclear winter would ravage. I mean, that's why we never went to war. Yeah, that's
Well,
why we
isn't
never
the-
fired nukes at Russia, because of mutually assured destruction.
Isn't the scarier thing now the EMPs? Is that what they're called?
Well, I mean, every nuclear bomb has an EMP. Like, that's part of the
Well, they're not
reaction.
talking about actually using like nuclear missiles, but actually like EMP. I don't want to go down this road. This is how Fury Road starts. This is
Yes.
This is how
That's how we get there.
we get there.
This is how the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Yeah. The guy, the fat guy with the pierced nose, is the grossest guy to me. Like, even more than a Morton Joe or
Wasn't it
anybody else.
wasn't it
The
a fake
sun?
nose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Like his fellow lord.
I'm sorry, man. I liked his car a lot.
Which one?
Morton
The
Joe's
sedan?
car.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the double decker '59 Cadillac. Oh, that was such a sweet ride.
You know what? I have to. Have you? I was just about to ask Brian if he's seen American History X. You guys have all seen American History X, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
You've seen it. Corey's argument in that was always that that Derek Vineyard never spent enough time with the dude in prison to have a newfound respect for African Americans. And I'm saying, guy saved his life basically. You know, he was they formed a bond in prison. And Corey would always argue that with me, and I'm like, no, just because they didn't show it all, you know that he's there an extended period of time. And but
You mean prison is not one day?
no, but
you
Corey,
mean they told instead of show?
what do you mean?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
they showed
the number
him-
one story, the number one rule of storytelling is show, don't tell.
Right. He has hair when he gets out. He's,
Yeah.
Right, that
more filled out.
That's how you do it in movies. You
Yes.
do a montage, or you.
Well, he
you
also
do
had
some
I
sort
mean,
of
he had an
change.
actual prison sentence that he went, and that's not the point. The point is that Corey loves Fury Road, and I've never made mention of this before, but fucking this bald-headed dude that was Beast in X-Men, I can't think of his name
Okay.
right now.
Nicholas Holt.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
not-
the talking one.
He's Nux.
He was gone for like
Forever.
for 45 minutes in this car chase, and it was enough time to make him switch sides. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though his whole life he'd been devoted to this,
He was
basically
also a
God.
low-ranking member, and he was easily swayed
Why was he so easily swayed in like an hour's worth of time? Because they were pretty ladies?
because his
Pretty ladies.
mental
Capacity?
acuity- Yeah, I mean, he wasn't dumb, but he was.
Brainwashing doesn't go away that quickly.
It's not brainwashing. It's
It's all that chrome shit he sprayed on his teeth.
he's low man on the totem pole. He's easy. He's an easy target to recruit. He's easily manipulated.
Yeah, but an hour? Like he switched sides like over an hour.
Yeah,
he was radicalized.
There are people that are gullible enough for that shit, dude.
Yeah, I there was nothing in that situation that would have made him switch sides. other than
Everything
pretty
that they showed
ladies.
him in before that was leading up to that. How he was the lowest rung of the ladder,
And he got there,
and
and
was
he got the
treated
blessing,
like crap, and
and
got in by accident. Yeah, everything was.
yeah. But what? Give me one reason he would have been swayed, other than there were pretty ladies on the other side.
That they were going to
Probably.
kill him.
Yeah, it's either they're going to shoot me.
There wasn't enough there for him to be like, okay, I'm just going to switch sides. Like there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing.
The promise,
He just all
the
of a
promise
sudden-
of maybe not being the low man on the totem pole. The fact that like I could get in.
But he's not. If he's stupid enough to be switched that easy, he's not smart enough to be like, oh, if I do this and this and this, all of a sudden.
Oh, he could. Maybe he's smart like a fox, and maybe it's all about self preservation.
That's more of an explanation than he just is like, okay, I'm just going to start helping them pull this
I think
truck
it's
out
just
of the sand.
survival. Like
Yeah.
if he didn't help them, they were going to kill him.
So you guys are saying Corey's right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Why? What was his
What's
argument?
wrong with him being right?
No, he's never right on this
Ever?
podcast.
Ever?
No.
Wow.
No, it's just he didn't say anything about them switching. I'm just saying that if he was not okay with this entire section of time in American History X and the guy in prison being switched over a period of time, but he was okay with this guy at the drop of a dime being like, you know what, I'm going to switch sides and just pull this truck out of the sand. You can't do both.
Well, look at the options. It's either death, or death. So it's not just join them or die. It's join them and die. I could kill them, and I'd still be stuck in the desert in a truck that can't move. Or
Well, if he stabbed a bunch of them and there was only the Immortan Joe's wives left and they caught up to him and it was just his wives, he'd be celebrated as a god, basically.
yeah, he'd be like, "Here you go." Like,
Savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had a decision to make.
we'll never know.
Yeah. I wanna in the
Write the fanfic.
yeah in this world of prequels and sequels and side stories, I want a side story of just him. Just him.
Where he started.
Yeah, we
then
need to
where
dive
he
deeper in
ends?
this character. Yeah, I'm with Alan. Plot wasn't that great in this movie, but visually the movie is incredibly fun to watch.
Yes.
A little nerve wracking. It's like let's step on the gas and not let off of it the entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, you could see why Furiosa is the one taking charge in this movie because Max wants no part of it.
Yeah,
He's stuck there.
yeah.
He's a blood bag.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even like as soon as he gets them what they want, he just leaves
Yeah.
to go.
It was kind of weird doing the hallucination of his dead family, which
Who the hell are they?
that happened in the first movie,
Okay.
and they died. That's why he became Mad Max, and then you don't really see anything
Okay.
affecting him at any point. It was just I thought it was cool they brought the director back to do this.
I don't think they brought him back. I think he's
Yeah.
responsible.
Well, I mean,
for it.
it's his
baby.
Yeah, he still filmed it in Australia.
Where 8 of the 10 most deadly snakes are.
There's a lot more than just deadly snakes in Australia.
Yes,
And they're like spiders
there's
and
lots
shit.
of stuff.
No
Yeah.
thanks.
That's a crazy country.
Kangaroos
And
and koalas that have gonorrhea.
What?
Yeah, like 78% of koalas have gonorrhea.
Can it?
Why?
Or no, not gonorrhea, chlamydia.
Still, why?
Can you catch it from?
I mean, I would assume like
Is it a different strain that only they can get?
potentially, I would assume, but certain things do
So
mutate in
weird.
cross species, like the
Yeah.
flu virus.
That
Don't bang a koala.
deer
I have no intention to, but that's just
that
so
deer
strange.
and elk disease right now, that wasting disease.
Yeah.
They're worried about jumping to humans. So don't eat this meat.
Don't eat this meat.
No, seriously, you have
Vincent's
to get
meat.
You have to get deer and elk meat tested now before you actually eat it, because there's a pretty serious wasting, basically like a zombie disease. Like you'll just waste away.
It's not a zombie. I mean, it's
Ugh.
just yeah.
I had some boar today. Is that
You
I
might-
can eat that?
you
Well,
might
I mean, you
be in
have risk for
trouble.
trichinosis, but that's why
Boar.
you always feed.
What is that?
What is this? That one?
trichinosis? It's a fungus. It's a worm.
Oh, how will I know if I have
If you-
trichinosis?
Did you cook the pork thoroughly?
I don't know. It was like one of those like sausages.
Was it cooked?
Was it cooked thoroughly?
I don't know. I didn't cook it.
Who cooked it?
Someone at the farmer's market?
Did you eat it raw?
No.
Don't eat
Was
raw
it-
sausage.
Did you take a bite and look at the interior of the meat before you kept eating it?
Did it wiggle when you bit into it?
Or did it snap?
It was a slice of like little jerky boar.
You're gonna get a worm because you had a little
Well, fever, diarrhea, vomiting.
Okay, I'll let y'all know.
Keep
Okay,
an
when did you
eye
eat
out.
it?
Keep us posted.
I don't know, at like 1:12.
But typically pork products are notorious for trichinosis, so that's why that's like the one meat you make sure you cook.
And chicken.
Yeah, and chicken.
Chicken.
Well, chicken's salmonella, but yeah, I mean that's why do you think in the Old Testament in Leviticus all these rules are wash your feet so you don't get disease and die.
Okay, so
cook your pork so you don't get diseases and die.
I went to a Lutheran church for anywhere between 7 and 10 years. I can't remember exactly. I don't have a very good memory, but I took part in the washing of the feet.
Oh yeah, God was in the foot baths for some reason.
I had my feet washed by the pastor, and not in like a weird way. It was like there was like a reenactment in front of the church of like Jesus washing feet.
I think it's like the whole thing of like prostrating yourself and like being humble. I think it's
being a service to the people.
The spirit behind it, yeah.
So yeah, there was like.
But I mean, it started in the Old Testament as like wash your feet so you don't get diseases and die.
You're walking around on dirt.
Yep.
Dude, I walked around Disneyland all day one time with sandals on, and my feet they were fucked up. They were so dry and cracked and just bad.
So one time I went to Disneyland and I didn't bring an extra pair of socks because I always bring a pair of socks with me.
Why? Your feet sweat that bad?
No, you go on Splash Mountain and then you go wait in line.
Squish, squish.
Squish, squish. Not only that, you get trench foot, man. That's how you get trench foot.
It's true.
Warm, sweaty feet that's already moist.
Yeah, it hurts.
Moist.
And then your feet blister and crack open. It's painful.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
It sucks. Have you ever had moist feet?
Sure. What the fuck are we talking about?
What
are we doing?
You have experience going on Splash Mountain.
Have you ever been on this fucking
soaked,
podcast
right?
before?
Yeah, I went with you two like a couple months ago.
A couple times.
Yeah,
So when
that
you're
was a
walking
good
around-
trip.
Did you ever get wet socks?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, wet socks.
It sucks. I don't like
Wet
the feeling of wet
socks
socks. Yeah.
Was that wasn't opening football day, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, we went the first day of football and it was dead. Like,
Yeah, we
Nice.
we went on a ton of stuff.
Are you
But
gonna go to Star Wars
hell yeah, when it comes out, man.
on football day?
No.
No.
That's what's nice about your team leaving you is you're not ruled by Sundays anymore. No, but then there was the time before that where Brian got like heat stroke and had to lay down for a bunch.
Which part? Because there was the one time we all went and I threw up that night. I got sick and I had to drink a Gatorade like all day the next day. And then the other time is I had that drink and I had to lay down for like 10 minutes.
One drink, he had to lay down for 10 minutes.
I don't know what was in that thing, but I was hurting.
Some sort of alcohol.
Wait, did somebody like slip you a Mickey Finn?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her. I
It's
don't
a
know.
Mickey Finn.
Yeah, putting something in your drink.
A roofie.
Yeah, they used to call it a Mickey Finn.
Okay.
They called it in days of yore.
You're also going to be the educator in our
Days of yore. What's another period?
A ghost. So, Baby Fishmouth. We can keep going.
Yeah.
Anybody know what Baby Fishmouth is from?
Crickets.
Have you ever seen When Harry Met Sally? Really? Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. I don't remember a lot of the details of the movie, but yeah, I'm familiar with the general.
I genuinely like
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal and kind of heartfelt movies. So that
Did you like My Giant?
I've never seen it.
It's a heartfelt movie with Billy Crystal in it.
Maybe I should see it.
Yeah. About him and a
You like it? You've seen both the City Slickers, right?
just the first one. Well, no, I have seen both of them, yeah.
How the first one is like kind of semi-serious, but it is a comedy as well, but it follows the storyline, and the second one just becomes so fucking zany that it's like, you're like, what? This is a sequel to this? Because the first one, it's like...
Dan Curley and Daniel Stern.
There was the guy in it with the mustache who... He was in When Harry Met Sally. He killed himself in real life. But he was like... They were talking about the best day of their life, and he was like, when I pushed my dad back and said we didn't need him anymore and I was going to take care of the family and we kicked him out of the house, and they're like, and what was the worst day of your life? And he's like, same day, and he like rides off on his horse. It's like really super serious. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
okay.
There's some pretty tender moments in there.
Well, they all address like major personal issues.
Well, it's a midlife crisis movie.
Yeah. What are we going to do for a midlife?
I was just about to ask you the same thing.
What do you think you're going to do?
Convertible?
Brian's going to get married to a 21-year-old.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that.
What would you have in common with a 21-year-old?
Does it matter?
Yes. If you're going to get married,
Prenup.
it does,
See, then don't get married.
yeah.
That's the
There's
thing.
if you're gonna go around, you guys are gonna date, have fun, whatever.
That's fine.
It's
Yeah.
fine. But to settle down and get married to somebody that
And maybe they want to grow up too.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They
I
have
tried.
high
I
hopes.
tried getting somebody to grow up. It didn't work.
You can't
No.
make people do anything.
I tried coaching someone.
It's all about
getting
timing.
to
It's
do what
coming
they
in there
wanted
right
to
at the
do, and
time
it
when they
didn't
want to
happen.
grow up.
See, if you're being a life coach, you need to get paid for it.
Yeah, it's like
I-
getting
there
the right
was
time.
some payment.
What do you think your midlife crisis is going to be, Katrina? Divorce?
Hell,
This got dark.
that's mean.
You'll get divorced at 21 years.
What's
of marriage.
midlife now?
It's actually gone down for the first time in the U.S. in quite some while, probably because of the
Still
opioid.
mid 40s.
What?
Still mid 40s, right?
Well, the average age would, yeah. Well, no, because it'd be 79, I believe it is.
So
it's 79 and a fraction. I mean,
So
it's gone down, but
we've
it
got
hasn't gone
3.5
down
years.
Yeah, 4 years, 5 years, 4
much. Yeah.
I
So
might go on
for-
a trip in May on my own.
to where?
DC.
Why?
The round trip tickets cheap, and I've never been.
You're
can look at
You're someone that
museums.
could travel on your own.
Yeah, I might do that.
Oh, yeah.
I love DC. I went in 8th grade. I'd love to go back as an adult, but it's not on my list of places I need to go right now.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Midlife crisis?
Well, I've already done the traveling by myself thing.
Travel with your 21-year-old wife?
There you go.
Yeah, maybe I'll just buy a Russian bride.
Have them delivered
Might be a little bit
in
more
a
difficult
box.
now.
Would it?
Yeah, maybe not. The whole country's run by Russians, so who
Yeah,
knows?
it should be like easy.
Easy.
Peasy. Yeah.
Free shipping.
What about you?
What?
Face tattoo?
Amazon Prime.
Oh God, no.
Face tattoo. No.
I already have a hand tattoo. I can't get a face tattoo.
Wait, you can get a tattoo of a face on your hand and a hand on your face.
No.
Oh, I didn't. I gotta tell this.
Wait a
this-
minute. Wait, do you have a what?
She has a zoot
hand
suit
tattoo
hand tattoo. She has like a gangster tattoo.
on my hand.
And not the stupid like
Gangsta.
curly Q mustache that people put up under
Where?
their nose.
On her hand.
It's on my finger.
Yeah, Brian.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Why
I've
would
had
you
it.
have?
It's on my hand, and
We
I
all-
only got one of them.
We've known each other for like what 15 years now.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What are you doing? Staring at her hands?
I'm trying to, but now I see that
Singular.
little thing.
Hand.
My brother has one of those mustaches.
Does he?
The mustache tattoo.
So I
Alan's shaking his head.
strange.
Nice.
the boys were in the living room today, and I was like, "Hey guys, come here." And
God.
what? I can't tell the story.
No,
on
you
here?
can.
So I'm standing at the end of the hall, and we're facing the hallway, and I have my hand up Katrina's shirt and out of her arm. And Oliver came in, and he's like, "Wait, what's going on?" and I was like, Katrina's just laughing the whole time, trying to like. Then Parker came in, he's like, they were just like confused as to what was happening right now.
It's pretty close to what Chris used to do to me in high school.
What date?
No. God.
What he put his hand up your shirt?
No.
Well,
I said close. I didn't say it was the exact same thing. You're awful.
What did he used to do?
Oh, you don't deserve the story now.
No, you're gonna tell it. What's the story?
No, he built a glove hand that he would like stick inside my sweater on the left side, and his hand would be the actual hand outside. Like he had a glove around the wrist, and then he would pull it out and just start screaming.
I like Chris.
I know you do.
So Fury Road,
Yeah,
pass. I would recommend it to a friend.
I would too. It was fun.
Same.
Success.
I'm not
Yeah.
a big Charlize Theron fan, but
I'm not either.
whatever.
She made me laugh in Arrested Development.
I really
Okay.
didn't like her in Devil's Advocate, and that kind of what ruined it for me.
Wasn't she like a minor role in that movie?
She was his
She was his wife.
wife.
No, I thought she was the lover.
No, she was his
Wait,
wife.
that was his sister.
Yeah,
Now I remember that movie. Yeah.
I actually like that movie.
Click,
Yeah.
click.
So the one I think we're gonna have the most discussion about, because there's a lot going on,
It's a very polarizing movie.
and we watched it last night. Let's hear the discussion from the two people that hadn't seen it. So, a Clockwork Orange. What did you guys think?
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
I
Like
felt-
that was like Dr. Seuss on like acid. Yeah.
that's actually.
So I felt like I was just like plucked down into an environment that I had no idea about what was going on, and I felt like it was really geared towards people who had read a story, and I didn't know anything about it whatsoever.
I'm glad, Alan, that you said something about putting the subtitles on, because I've seen the movie 5, 6, 7 times probably. Yeah. As a younger person, I was into really violent stuff.
Yeah.
Not not anything real stuff, and not. I mean, there were several rape scenes in this movie, and that was never anything I was. But just like the fights, the just disregard for authority and stuff. I think
I said, like, you can see like how, especially like aesthetically, how this movie was a huge inspiration to like a lot of punk acts in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
That directly either lifted the look like the Addicts did, or just the kind of it's the general youth and revolt kind of society that it is. I mean, in that world, that entire country of
control.
Britain is absolutely in disarray because juvenile delinquency is just through the roof. And even a totalitarian government cannot keep it in check.
Right.
So what'd you think?
It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because especially like in the, I would say, quote unquote rape scenes, like the way these women are running away, it's just kind of like, yeah, that's not how you run away from a situation like that. Like you don't like throw your arms
You don't
back.
fling your hair from side to side.
Right. So that was a little rough. It definitely got its point across, though, in the way of message. It's about control, and it's about keeping the status quo, and, how do we do that? And we'll do that by any means possible.
And the power of like conditioning. I mean,
Right.
that when you look at that, the Ludovico technique, it's not that complicated. They gave him a bunch of meds to
Pavlov's dog, basically.
absolutely. It's give him a bunch of meds to make him feel nauseous, and then make him watch these abhorrent films, and he's going to make an association with that.
Right.
That's why I couldn't eat popcorn for like 12 years.
Why?
I ate undercooked chicken. We were talking about that earlier. And my roommate would eat a bowl of popcorn every night. So I got really sick and I smelled popcorn. And then from like 19 to last year, I didn't eat popcorn.
Ever.
Well, you can't eat
I
popcorn
just-
because of the hardware, right?
I can, but
Popcorn is a highly overrated snack.
I love popcorn.
I'll eat it when it's there, but I've never once in my life been like, oh, I feel like popcorn.
You ever do the Mr. Robot popcorn?
What's that?
So it's like, and we just call it that because I saw it on an episode of Mr.
Jiffy
Robot.
Pop?
No, you take the popcorn, you pour like your M&Ms or your Reese's Pieces or your malt balls in the popcorn, you shake it up a little bit.
You get sweet and salty.
Yeah, you get a little of both. A little buttery, a little salty, a little sweet.
I had a friend do that with peanuts and candy corn and some other things.
Like
and you get
Crack
that,
Jack, yeah.
You get like
Pretzels.
sweet and salty. I like that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't do that. That's an abomination.
It's actually a lot of fun. No. So I did
Don't
Ready
you get
Player
like
One.
melty chocolate popcorn?
A little bit.
I don't like melted chocolate on my fingers.
But it's not melty. Like, that's why you use the candy shell.
Well,
Because it melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
That wouldn't work with malt balls, though.
No, the malt balls, you got to get those quick. But
wouldn't it be easier just to have like 2 malt balls and a handful of popcorn?
Probably.
So we went and saw Lego Movie 2 last weekend, and the guy giving us our popcorn, I was like, so at some of the AMCs, it'll say their favorite movie on their name tag, and his favorite movie was Back to the Future 2.
The 2?
Yes. I was like, and I said something, and I usually don't say anything. I'm like, so you really like Back to the Future 2 better than Back to the Future 1? And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, they go to the future and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
They actually do what they're supposed to do in the title.
I told him, I was like, you know what? Back to the Future 2 is my favorite Back to the Future movie. And he's like, cool, man. And he's like, you guys get a free refill and popcorn. You just want me to fill this separate box up with it so you guys can all have one? I was like, yes. Because that's what we do anyways. We get a box and we pour the popcorn in. I'm like, this guy is awesome. He knows
Yeah,
his
he's
shit.
good.
Yeah, they do that at Universal when they have their favorite movie. There's one guy who's Army of Darkness. And
Did you bond?
No, I just said, hey, I like Army of Darkness too. And then he said nothing.
He scowled at you
I got
and
nothing.
walked away.
I got no.
Cool story like I
No. It was sad.
no recognition.
I had a conversation the other night about like the ability of well, it was asked like if guys can just like touch on like one or two things, then you're just like pals. Like I met this guy, I think his name was Victor, and we talked about the Machado signing. He's a physical therapist, and we talked about Xbox. And like right there, it was like, you're
Instant friend.
Yeah, instant friend.
Sam, the guy that did our artwork, we played paintball together, and immediately afterwards we kind of buddied up, and that's been it. He's going to Vegas with us. He's come over to the house a bunch of times now. It kind of instantly just clicked, and there was no similarities. He's in, and I've said this on here, I'm not an anti-gun guy. He's a big gun guy, big car guy. I'm not into cars at all. I don't know. It just kind of,
Sometimes that happens. I mean, it's just sometimes you can be intuitive enough to kind of know this is the type of person I'm going to get along with.
Yeah.
It's not that easy for girls, if that's where you're going.
No, I just
Back to rape scenes.
we were just
Back
talking
to
about
rape
how
scenes.
these two like connected with their respective movie popcorn going people, and that's what I was thinking about. Rape scenes. Go.
Rape scenes.
Yeah. I mean, they exist.
Like,
Rape
I don't
scenes?
understand why he cut off
Yeah.
the nipples of her shirt and then cut up the side of her leg. Like, I was really confused about that part.
I think it's just a
Why did that
Control.
guy blink so much?
I think part of it was control. I think part of it was. I think he was just.
Well, all rape is about control, but
Yeah, there's a lot of it in humiliation and domination and power and
right.
the whole dynamic there, and just because they don't care, they're just.
Well, yeah, he
Youth
sure
and
as hell
revolt.
didn't really
Yeah.
care.
It was all a game to him. I mean, like look at how he narrated it and talked about how. Well, we had a lot of
Look at
fun in
your
a fight,
narrator.
so let's go have a little bit of the old and out.
Old and out.
The old and out.
In out.
Yeah.
I
No time for the old in out, love. Just here to read the meter.
when you watch a movie that's that, because it is a classic at this point. I mean, whether you want to,
Well, aren't all of his films highly regarded?
Kubrick? Oh, absolutely.
yeah, but
With the exception of the one that they made kind of after his death, AI.
AI.
And then Eyes Wide Shut's pretty polarizing too.
Wait, AI with Haley Joel Osment AI?
yeah,
Yeah,
he died while filming.
No, he wrote the script and then died before it was picked up, and then Spielberg directed it. Yeah.
But as two people that haven't watched it, watching it for the first time in 2019, did you see anything in the movie that you've seen referenced in other movies? Because I've noticed that as movies that I have missed that are classics that I've watched that other movies have pulled from.
I mean, costumes, like there was the Halloween Simpsons episode where he dressed up as him, and the like you said yesterday, Al in the eye holding thing. Like that's referenced quite a few times.
The scene where they're driving in the stolen car to the home is also like, referenced a lot in pulp culture as well.
That's the only thing off the top of my head I can think of.
My thing was I didn't watch Scarface till kind of later in life, and there's a lot of quotes from that movie that have been quoted in other movies that I was like, oh yeah, I see where that came from. Yeah.
Scarface is a remake too, right?
Is it?
Yeah. The original is James Cagney in the 30s. Same story.
Was it as violent?
No.
No.
That's why
No, they
Brian,
set that shit up.
that's what separated it was
Yeah.
the Brian De Palma. But it still had a pretty bloody end.
I mean, I had no idea
the
that
30s.
somebody was getting chopped up with a chainsaw in Scarface. I never.
Yeah.
That was fucked. But no, as much as I watched Clockwork Orange when I was younger, it is a difficult movie to watch. I love the soundtrack. I love the score. Man,
Absolutely.
just listening to it, that music, that kind of.
Yeah, it's not in Beethoven's a big part of that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's a big part of that character, and they use some of like Beethoven's best pieces, and the weird synth pop of like Beethoven's Ninth that they use throughout that movie is just really cool. And they play different movements from the Ninth throughout the movie.
I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to ask this to you as well, Katrina, just because it's going to be an equal male to female question, okay?
Okay.
Do you, all of you, and I'll put myself in this list, do you think at the age of, we're all 34, 35, at this age, that you have the sexual prowess to please two people at the same time, and this dude's 15 years old? just banging it out with these two girls this wasn't a rape scene. You said it was in the book.
In the
right?
book, it is a rape scene.
And in the movie, it's consensual. These people come home with him.
Well, that's where
I don't know if because he keeps undressing
he
them.
keeps
That's
undressing him,
true.
and they keep getting up to leave.
Yeah, and he doesn't let them.
And that's where I was.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
I was tabling that because I wanted to see if what your thoughts on that,
Because the first one sees it as a way to leave and get out because he's preoccupied
with
somewhere
the
else.
So she gets dressed.
And so she gets dressed to go, and then he immediately zones in on that and is like, "No, you're not going nowhere."
because for the longest time I thought that was just a funny sped
Tidbit.
up, little okay, it's just a fun sexual romp.
No,
I didn't think about that because rape isn't always rape as we think about it.
Right.
It's,
No.
You know, somebody being pinned down, their clothes being ripped off, and stuff like
Right.
that. People can just do it because they're horribly uncomfortable
Right.
and they don't know what to do.
Right.
That's still considered a rape.
Yeah.
right.
I still want to answer my question, but I'm looking
Okay.
at this much differently now. This guy was 15.
Supposedly,
Yes, he's
Hollywood 15.
He was 28. We looked it up.
because I was reading a synopsis and they said they increased the age to 18
to make it
to
less
avoid controversy.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because
he's
it would have gotten an
18.
X rating at that point. Because
There's
those
no
girls
way.
were supposed to be 13 in the book.
Okay.
There's no way at age 18 to 34 now I'd be able to be like
Hello, ladies.
two people. Nor am I have that desire. That I'm not that guy like Diedrich Baker in Office Space.
Well,
Two girls at the same time.
at that point, is it really about pleasuring them, or is it about pleasuring yourself?
That's just, I guess, I look at things differently.
Yeah.
It should always be about pleasing the other person.
Not if it's someone you don't care about, right? If it's just another conquest for you.
Yeah, but
Put yourself in
I
his shoes.
can't. I can't put myself in that situation
Yeah.
because I'm not a notched on the belt type of person.
No, and nor are you a total unrepentant sociopath either.
No.
So he's not doing it for their pleasure. He's doing it for his.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So do you answer the question now?
I'd like to think
That you could?
I could, but reality is probably different than what I think.
Brian?
No.
Are you going to answer this question?
Are you asking if I can pleasure two ladies at the same time? Is that really the question?
You can choose the
Any degree therein of two individuals.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. I was just trying to be
No,
fair. I'm not trying to make
And
anybody
you know,
uncomfortable.
for as much breast and butt as there was plenty of dong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You had a nice male to female genitalia ratio.
I am an equal.
Yeah.
We've discussed it
Yeah.
on here. I am an equal dong to boob or vag.
Let me
person.
ask you a question. If you had a big mural of naked Greeks in your office, right? Would you
Draw dicks on
draw
them?
dicks on them and funny cartoon bubbles?
I still occasionally I don't know how to get this off my phone, but I drew like the iPhones have the little draw pad. I drew a dick and sent it to Katrina, and then forever.
True story.
Anytime you turn my phone sideways, that picture would come up because it was the first. I think I just broke Alan.
That's awesome.
I
love it.
Yeah, so
That's the first thing I did when the trackpad came out too. So it's like, just drawing dicks and sending it to everybody I know.
I mean, we're in our mid 30s
I like how that's
now.
the first thing that comes to mind.
Absolutely. You're telling me you wouldn't draw a dick and send it to
No,
everybody
that
you
is
know?
not the first
Have
thing.
you ever drawn a dick?
No,
It's got to be. Maybe it's a guy thing then.
I don't think so.
Brian, do you draw dicks and send them to people?
No, I don't.
You've never done that before?
We used to do that in high
I'm
school
sure
all
I
the
did.
time.
Haven't done it in forever.
When you get like the moisture on your windows, we'd draw like giant dicks on the back window of people's cars all the time. We'd put like stink lines and flies buzzing off of it.
Oh,
Why are the
jeez.
dicks stinky? Because they don't wash them?
Just because it's for fun.
It's for fun.
You
I
throw
do the-
a big vein on it.
I do the spray. Like
Jesus.
this is a peak erection at ejaculation moment.
at the initiation of
It's
coital climax.
no, I don't think I would do that.
No.
Even though I've obviously drawn dicks on things. Yeah, no.
You gotta make them smelly.
Make them smelly.
It's so great.
Smelly dicks.
Stink lines and flies.
What is your most memorable scene from this movie, Brian?
Oh,
And would you ever have a statue that distributes milk from its breasts in your house?
To answer the second question, no, I wouldn't.
It's artsy.
That's disgusting.
With all the
no.
Big
lady
pink,
tables?
with all the
No.
big pink bushes.
No, it's just...
If I wasn't lactose intolerant, yes.
They weren't all pink.
There were some orange ones.
There
There's
was
a blue one.
yellow and purple and
Did you play BioShock?
Yes.
So that reminds me of Cohen.
Okay.
Like that whole fucking Fort Frolic, just weird mannequins, dead people wrapped up in plaster.
Yeah, I could definitely see that they probably borrowed the aesthetic from that.
Yeah, that was creepy as shit. Biggest part, I mean, the whole, really the ending, like that whole transition where he's constantly having to run into all the people that he met up with before, and it just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. I was just like, dude, this guy's gonna die.
Well, at any point, did you feel bad for him?
no.
My first thought is no. I'd have to probably dwell on it a bit
And that's where I think me seeing it at different stages of my life, I used to feel bad for him. I used to feel really bad for the character at that point. Now I'm like, he's...
Getting what he deserves.
Yeah, it's like it's all coming around to bite him in the ass.
I kind of agree with you because I remember him like when I saw it as
So I'm like, oh, he's cured now, man. Like, why are all these people doing this?
like when he gets beat up, and then the big thing was his friends being officers, and yeah, you're like, oh man, that sucks. But watching it this time, I was like, nah,
Dude, he like attacked them and threw them in the water. Like,
Yeah.
why?
I love that scene though when he pulls the blade out and he's
Yeah.
got that look of just like pure fucking
Crazy?
craziness on his face. If somebody did that in real life, if you ever saw that look on somebody's face in real life,
You turn around and you leave.
You get
Gone.
away.
Yeah, you
But
fight or flight.
yeah, you're right because
I find that interesting.
I remember finding American Psycho really funny as
Yeah.
well. Parts of it still are,
Yeah.
but like the uber violence in that really funny, and laughing in the theater and people yelling at us in the theater, and seeing it later in life, you're not as
Quick to laugh.
Joe-
quick
Jovial.
to laugh at
I mean,
ultra violence.
I still laugh at ultra violence, but I think violence it kind of fits.
This
into
one
like-
wasn't just violence though; it's a complete
right, and it comes. It's part of the comedy of the absurd, right?
Yeah.
You create just these hyper unrealistic, absurd situations that sometimes you just can't help but laugh at it because
That's part of the body's defense mechanism to
Yeah.
deal with seeing something like that as well. Is laughter or just nervous laughter.
Correct.
So let me ask you this, because I know this is obviously like one of the, especially in modern times, one of the greatest critiques about this movie is people say that it glorifies and glorifies rape in general. Do you feel that those rape scenes were needlessly gratuitous, or was it raw and visceral and necessary to the narrative?
I feel like it was necessary for what the movie's trying to do.
I do too. I think
It doesn't make
paints a picture of this is the world that we're in.
It doesn't. I mean, that movie would never get made now.
Or without lots of concessions made.
Yeah. Now, I never thought of it like I didn't catch that scene as possibly a rape scene with the two girls. When I was younger and saw the movie, I didn't think he was raping the girl at the end either. But this time, it seemed like she's trying to get away, and he keeps pulling her back, even though.
Wait, which
Where he's
girl
in
are
the
you
snow?
talking?
Yeah, at the very, very end when
There's
he's
a crowd.
Yeah, there's a crowd around. He's imagining that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's imagining that he's raping somebody there too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because again, when I was younger, the scene when they're trying to demonstrate whether or not he's cured, I didn't understand why is he getting sick when this naked woman is walking up. It's not because he's conditioned to hate sex. It's because he says like my desire was to grab her, and give her the old in out and out.
Yeah.
It's his base urge.
Well, the final scene is to show that he's no longer associated
Right.
that anymore. So he's no longer getting nauseous with extreme violence
Yeah.
or extreme, and so
So he's raping her.
yes,
So when he's talking to that psychiatrist when he wakes up in the ICU and he says, "I had this dream that people were fiddling with my brains." What did you think about that?
Like whether he was imagining it. or
What,
not?
yeah, what were they doing? Were they fiddling with his brain to undo the conditioning, or was that just kind of him in a morphine dream.
Well, he had a severe head injury because he jumped out a window.
Right.
So I'm figuring there had to be some kind of fix to the head. Because he would have been hitting head
first. Because it definitely leaves it ambiguous enough that, again, because originally, before he found out that this was the guy who raped, and I'm blaming for the death of my wife, who
he was going to use him to
maybe
get a point across.
Right.
They were going to use him, right, because they were
as a political ploy.
Yeah. So this person who thinks that he is high up on the ladder is really just a pawn in a bigger game.
Right.
Back and forth.
So I took it as, something happened between him getting out that window and hitting the concrete.
It's definitely interesting talking to you two, having seen it as adults for the first time, compared to Alan and I, who have seen it, like you said, different stages through our lives.
Because it was the thing that the minister had said, because it basically said that they took away his ability to choose. Mm-hmm. And that's the huge philosophical debate about God in general, is that you're given this right to choose your path. And what you choose is the biggest thing.
It's one of the oldest philosophical questions.
Right.
Is everything predestination or...
So now he's back in a position where he gets to choose. What is he going to do? He's no longer going to be forced to do the right thing. He's going to have to actually
go back to what he wanted to do.
Is he? And that's the question.
And they made no qualm about the ethics of this experiment. Like, they were like, yeah, this is not an ethical experiment,
right.
But I don't care. What we care about are results. Are the results going to be effective?
Correct.
And to that point, the technique itself, right, when you exploring his own inner dialogue, it's not so much that his body reacts violently to not just the images of it, but it's, again, him thinking, like, I want to do this. Like, he started balling up a fist when he started getting ill with that comic. He only started getting ill once he was like, I want to rape this girl. Yeah, so he was fine up until the homeless people, he wanted to hit them back. And same thing with the boarder at his parents' house. So was it effective? If he wasn't, a political pawn, would he have been able to function?
Because see, that's the thing you're left with. You're left with his imagination. You're not left with a decision he's having to make.
And everything is from his point of view, so we don't know what's objectively true.
It's definitely a lot more of a discussion for this movie than the last two movies.
Oh, absolutely. This is the meatier movie.
Yeah, and I feel like the discussion on this one is going to be a lot more than most of the movies we talk about on here, because it is such a... There's a lot going on.
There are.
There's a lot of different layers.
Well, so like I told you last night, that when Kubrick made this movie, he didn't realize there were two versions of the book. The British version of the book has that extra chapter where, because really you come to the sense of this that, okay, everything was pointless. He's back to being himself. He's essentially cured, right? This horrible thing is done and over with. But does that change for you the story, not knowing kind of that he meets up with his former gang member after being in a gang, it sees that this gang member has like a wife and kids now and has grown up and has essentially come to the conclusion on his own that it's time to grow up and move on.
See, I guess the way the movie's shot, it kind of leaves it an open-ended, like where you don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to return back to his prior ways and go back to being a crazy person, or is he going to try to do the right thing?
I felt like that kind of fantasy he had at the end made it less open-ended, because you're like, I'm just going to slip right back into...
I think that's what he wants. And that's kind of the desire of it, but would that actually be what he decides to do when it confronts himself in reality?
What about you, Brian?
What?
You lost him.
Yeah. I kept thinking about how he asked if it was different, like watching now, or if you felt sorry for him, and looking at the scenes where he's getting nauseous or he's getting trained, he's like begging to stop because of the feeling. It's like I've been in a position where like you're so debilitated by being like nauseous, and I wouldn't want anybody to experience that. So I feel for the guy like in that very moment. But as far as aside from the like the conditioning aspect.
Yeah.
I feel he
Self-deserved.
the imprisonment was fine and all that, but like that kind of shit, it makes me uncomfortable.
And that
It's
raises another
torture.
issue because why are they doing this experiment in the first place? Mm-hmm. Because
Overcrowding.
well, overcrowding and the bigger issue, right? Does incarceration work as a deterrent?
No,
Or rehab.
it's just another setup of structure and control.
Right, and we don't have. This is filmed in 70, right? Released in 71, and the book was written in 62. At that point, I don't think the Stanford prison experiment had been done yet. We didn't have a lot of the long.
I need to watch that.
Oh yeah, it's a crazy case study, but you don't have a lot of the peer-reviewed objective studies that have been into the
Prisons.
efficacy of incarceration or exactly the prison culture then is much different than it is now, and it's still not. I mean, it's improved some, but it's not better by leaps and bounds. I mean, it's probably marginal at best.
Well, it's a system.
Yeah.
It's meant to continue and create and go back and through in cycles. It's not meant to get better.
Order and chaos, right?
Right.
Back at it again, which is like one of the primal, forces of punk rock. That's why I think culturally this is a very significant movie. It's came out at the right time, late 60s, early 70s. That is like prime for like your parents' counterculture movement, right? We're right now in another counterculture revolution, right? With what's going on with the current X, Y, and Z people. I think we're in another. I mean, it's fair to say that this is a countercultural time.
Yeah,
much like the late 60s, early 70s were. And those usually are when you see a lot of changes in artwork. I mean, there's a reason why, Kubrick had done 2001 before this, Paths of Glory, and Doctor Strangelove before Clockwork Orange. He's done some movies, but he got started as he was a photographer. He wasn't a film guy. He didn't go to film school. He was a photographer. So seeing other Kubrick movies, you've seen some. You've seen some too, right?
I saw The Shining.
Have you seen other Kubrick movies?
Just The Shining.
All of his movies are shot like with a very distinctive style,
tone.
Absolutely,
Yes.
and every shot is meticulously framed and it's set up like a photographer would do, and it makes for very visually appealing. You made the mention that there are some very scenes that get very artsy, like a lot of the hallucinations and fantasies that he has, like when he's got that vinegar stroke face listening to Beethoven at the end of the night, and he starts like hallucinating about like murderers and vampires and like rape, or what was the other?
I always found the flash of him as a vampire with the blood and that stupid face so funny.
It is juxtaposed
ridiculous.
against it. It is
Yeah,
absurd.
I mean, with the seriousness of the rest of the movie, with it being that way, seeing that just always kind of cracked me up.
Yeah,
I think I felt like uncomfortable watching this, and the last time I felt that way was watching the second Rob Zombie Halloween movie, which had it had visions of white horses and just uber violent,
weird, and
it was not my
Forte.
Yeah, it was not in my wheelhouse.
Do you think that was intentionally made you feel uncomfortable?
Fuck if I know. I like his first version. The second one was just too. It was too
out
there.
I meant with this movie. With Orange. Like, do you think that you're supposed to feel uncomfortable watching this movie?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of tell you're supposed to be uncomfortable, right? When he's going through the process, and she's like, "You're getting normal. You're being healed. That's why you're sick at these images, because a normal person would be sick."
Yeah.
I don't know. From the first time to this time, every time I've watched this movie, I get kind of just when they're doing the music at the beginning and it's zooming through the club.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
It's a great shot, but it's always made me
Nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous,
Okay.
a little antsy, a little
The
anxious.
use of color with the simple orange splash screen.
And the way he's talking and the way the music's playing, it's mostly because of that music. I think it's they're trying to get you into that, because I think any person, you're supposed to feel uncomfortable in this movie. You're not supposed to. and they don't make movies like this really anymore that
Like,
are
and the
supposed to
thing-
invoke a specific
Sorry, go ahead.
feeling. I mean, like we've discussed it on here. So many movies are popcorn movies now, but the
Because that's what makes money.
the artsy. I haven't seen Hereditary yet, but I felt like that the way people were talking about it is that was one of the movies that is kind of making people feel like very off-putting.
Yeah, it was. It
Have you
was
seen
very
Hereditary yet?
filmy. I would say The Witch was the same way. The Witch was kind of like a
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, yeah. I really liked The Witch a lot.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
I read the entire thing of that movie, so I won't go watch it because I know.
What's going to
We'll add
happen?
that. We can add it to the list. I own it.
No, I mean I read everything that happens in it, so I'm kind of just like
You read the
eh.
Wikipedia article?
Yeah. Well, I was up late one night and I couldn't sleep, and it was like, you can't believe what happens in these 10 horror movies. So I was like,
Okay.
all right.
Let's
so
see.
I like 8 of them I had seen.
You still haven't seen the Babadook yet, have
No, and that's one on my list that I want to see.
you? Yeah.
Because that's completely psychological, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more I think about like you were like him as being such a teenager, the more I think about him and all the weird words that they would use to make it for. I just feel he's like a little punk ass, smart ass teenager now. Like that's what
That was just the lingo.
I know. It still bothers me. It
Yeah,
just
and
makes
that-
me think
so-
like he was just trying to be like,
Mr. Cool Guy?
yeah.
at
And I'm
me.
like, shut the fuck up. Just say
Where
the
he
word.
starts getting pretentious and like speaking in Old English with the these and thous and
Yeah.
well, my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, shut up.
So yeah, that slang, it's called like nadsat, which is like it's supposed to be like this phonetic between like British slang and Russian, right? 'Cause it's written in the '60s, the Cold War. It's a British author, and I told you like I first read this book. I was like 13. I was in 8th grade.
Holy shit.
I saw the movie and was just like, wow, this is awesome. This like speaks to me. Like it gets me.
I think I probably saw it at 15.
Yeah, because it's like right at the age where that's what you're already your youth in revolt, man. It's prime teen years, and I remember finding the book at a used bookstore over by SDSU, and it had all these notes in it of people jotting down in the
What,
footnote.
KB Books?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right there next to like just in the margins, like what each little slang word meant. And if it didn't have that, I wouldn't know what the fuck I was reading, especially at that age. I was just like, because they pepper it in so much more in the book than in the movie. Oh,
Well, it's
God,
a
yeah.
language.
Absolutely, it is. And you're like, what the fuck did he just say? Oh, okay, all right.
I don't mean to point out something else that was funny in a movie that was obviously typically not funny, but when he touches that penis statue and it rocks.
And,
And
the
it's-
fact that it doesn't rock just like gently.
Yeah,
It's like
there's
there's
something in there.
there's a weight inside,
Yeah.
like a counterweight.
And the way he
Well,
looks
it's
at it.
art.
Yeah, that shit cracked me up.
yeah.
Not watching
I think it
this-
was supposed to.
Yeah.
Or well, you look at it's a health farm, and there's all these like phallic and vaginal like imagery all over that room, and you know that when he goes and he finally hits her in the face with the penis, and one frame is her screaming mouth, and then the next it's that painting where it's like a mouth with lips and teeth, and then a vagina that's coming out of the mouth, and it just flashes on the screen real quick as he's hitting her in the face with that penis statue.
Yeah. That's off-putting as well.
Yeah,
You're like, oh,
you're like, what am I looking at? I don't know what happened.
yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, how'd she die? He hit her in the face.
With a big penis.
Yeah.
When the first time I saw, and this speaks to like us again watching as an adult and it being so off-putting as us watching this, and even as a younger person watching it, you're still, these rape scenes are brutal.
Yeah.
But when I first watched it, and there's that first fight between the gangs, I thought they were coming to her rescue.
Yeah, I did too.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
no.
I thought these guys are trying to rape this girl, and these guys are coming to their rescue to get her away.
No, they were just out
They were just looking for a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just looking for a fight. But can you see, as like looking at it through adult eyes, you see things differently than looking at it as a teenager's eyes. That's with everything in the world.
Absolutely. Your
But I'm
brain
like-
has other
I'm
connections.
like, oh, these are the good guys. Like they're
Yeah.
obviously the movie keeps going, and you're like,
And you're like, whoops.
oh,
No, they're
Yeah.
not.
yeah. But it was kind of cool watching it in different time frames. I'm wondering now if there's any other movies like that I can go back on and watch as an adult to put a different.
I still get uncomfortable watching Reservoir Dogs when he cuts off his ear. Like that
That's
still
never
makes
made
me
me
cringe.
uncomfortable.
So my roommate and I, we've been Matt and I, we were just talking about this morning that sometimes certain songs will like
Trigger.
That song forever.
that song I
Yep.
will always associate with.
I can hear it in my head.
Yeah. Also, another Tarantino movie where is the song that Comanche. I always think of the scene with the Gimp. Like, 'cause that's the song that's playing when the Gimp is coming out and raping Ving Rhames.
Okay.
So that there are certain like songs that are always going to be tied to certain scenes. Yeah.
That's just music placement.
And I mean, something needs
And then something to be said. Yeah, it's very powerful.
it needs to be placed very well. There's very few movies that use
Music correctly.
to tie the story together.
I absolutely agree.
And I think the soundtrack did that on this movie. I
Yeah.
still, when I hear certain versions
Baby
of the William
Driver.
Tell overture, I think of that sex scene. I think of whenever I hear Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, especially, I think of various parts in the movie where I hear it. So, like when he's zoning out, right, and just zooming around to that weird statue of all the bloody Jesuses, like naked, hanging onto each other's shoulders there, and just keep zooming in and flashing on it. Like, oh, whenever I hear that movement, I hear that. I see
You
that
see it in
scene
your
there.
head.
Yeah.
I'm
I
trying
can
to think
see
of
that.
other movies where there's songs that I.
Well, Baby Driver. I mean, that's the whole movie has scenes associated to that.
Well, that's
yeah.
just that's credit
Well,
to.
he
a movie
wrote that to the
uses-
music, and I
Yeah.
think he sent the music out with the script.
and some of the music I like on there lots. Like I've always been a fan of the Damned, and the fact that Neat Neat Neat, that's like one of my favorite songs by the Damned.
I know that you're not a Zach Braff fan because most people aren't.
Oh, Garden State.
But Garden State, when he was sending that script out, he sent the script out with the songs and where they played in the movie to pitch that movie, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I actually,
It's hard to do nowadays.
Yeah, I
'cause everyone
actually-
wants a piece of the pie.
I actually like that movie, and he used music really well. And I'm not like a Pixies fan, and really in a lot of this stuff, but he used music really well in that movie as well.
Sort of related. I can't hear the song 2 by Blur and not think of every 90s, like late 2000s movie trailer.
What was the song that played? It was a Pixie song that played at the end of Fight Club as well.
Where's My Mind? Yeah, that's used in a shit ton of movies.
Yeah, but that specifically,
That
I
scene
was
is
like,
what you think of, yeah.
If it pops on, not that you hear it very often.
Shaun of the Dead. Whenever I hear White Lines, I think of
Yeah,
that scene, or the that song that plays at the dead during the credits. Everybody's Happy Nowadays.
or the Queen song.
Kill the Queen.
Yeah, there's quite a few songs in that. Well, he just uses music pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Nicholas Angel.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz. There's
Yeah.
Man, those are good. But I think after this discussion, I think we're all okay saying here that we're not okay with rape, right?
Correct.
I don't
feel-
think you need to
yes,
put that
that
on a
is-
disclaimer.
I
I think
feel
most
like-
people are not okay with rape.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that needs to just be said that.
Because that's a
that-
central theme in the movie.
Well, not just that. It's that Alan and I have watched this as younger people and enjoyed this movie quite a bit when we were younger. But I just want to
Enjoyed
say
different aspects of it.
Yeah, it was never.
you enjoyed the rapes.
Yeah, I never enjoyed that portion. I think it's to make you feel uncomfortable. With that said, Alan, would you recommend this movie to a friend?
I still would recommend this movie to a friend. Yeah.
Brian?
No.
Katrina?
I'm torn on that question.
When to the two of you that haven't seen it, when was the last time that you thought this much about a movie, though? Obviously, we're doing a podcast where we're talking about the movie. But, I mean, there's not a lot of movies that
Make you think.
cause this much
Yeah.
discussion.
It's because we just want to be told what to like nowadays. Like, it's so much easier just to go
Oh,
and
we're all going to see Avengers. And that
Oh,
movie's
yeah.
going to make at least
shit
$2
ton of
billion.
money. Absolutely.
I hate Prince money.
I'm going to go see Captain Marvel, and that's going to make a shit ton of money, too.
Yeah.
Does that mean Robert's not going to go see Captain Marvel?
I am absolutely going to see Captain Marvel.
I'm going to see it, but I again, it's not because I don't want to see Captain Marvel. I just don't like going to the movies, so I will wait for it to come on.
Fair enough.
Until
I think it's important.
How are you? No, you have to see it ahead of time because how are you going to go see Endgame without seeing Captain Marvel when it connects the two movies together?
Fuck.
Yep, you're fucked.
I win.
I
won
win.
one.
I win.
We'll go at like an 11 a.m. showing.
And it's going to be total 90 nostalgia.
I hate going to the movies. That movie pass did not reinvigorate my passion.
You can come with us at 11 o'clock movie at La Jolla.
Sunday, AMC La Jolla.
Recliner
You
chair.
book your seats and they're recliner chairs and it's $7.
I did do a recliner chair when I saw it. I think that also comes out this year as well.
I haven't seen the other one yet. I haven't seen it. Where's Corey to go? The stupid. I haven't seen it yet. Would you recommend this to a friend, Katrina?
I think it's important to see past films to kind of understand where cinematography has gone and where it's been, and it definitely brings something to the table.
For as disturbing as it is, did you like it?
I did not like it.
Okay. So
I didn't like it.
So did you not like it because it was disturbing, or?
I mean, it almost it seems out of context. So I just found it to be unnecessary. I'm like, why does this exist? Like, I don't.
I think it's a part of where they were in the social political climate. And
I also think you could say that about a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, most things you could probably say like, why does this exist?
Yeah.
But someone's
Why
like,
is
do you
Korn
need?
still making records?
Because
Wait, they still are?
Because their shit's good. That's why. New record this year. So, but no, like
Why?
someone's like, do I need to see this? Like, no, you don't need to see this. I can just tell you it's weird and there's some
It's
weird
kinda
shit.
like
Unless
The
you're gonna
Shine-
get all these references in every other movie you watch, like you'll piece it together. Like it's not.
it's kind of like The Shining. Like, did I like The Shining? I don't know. Like, it's a good movie, and I watched it as a kid. But did I like it?
Like even thinking like you're talking about it now, and those little twin girls and
Yeah,
the blood and
that
all that. I'm
shit
like,
is
what is
blowjob
this?
there.
It reminds me of that fucking Animal Farm, then Parks and Rec. Like it's people eating goats that are pigs, and I'm
That's
like, I don't
one
want.
of my favorite parts
people are you.
in Ready Player
am
One
Oren.
is when they're running around in the Shining
Oren,
Hotel,
yeah.
and the chick,
Moo.
H is like, I don't watch scary movies. I don't like scary movies. And
Two-way
she's like
petting
freaking
farm.
out. What are you talking about?
Sorry, Al and I are. We lost it.
You're gone.
You bet the animals and they bet you back.
Oh, you have fun listening to this later.
Or it is stupid sheep. Moo.
I really wish we had more patrons because this is a good episode.
I think you broke him.
I really want you to finish what you were talking about.
What was I talking about?
H and The Shining and Ready Player One.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Shining as an adult.
I
think we put it on the list.
Okay.
I think we did.
Because I know I haven't as what I would consider an adult. Am I really an adult now? That's a good question.
You're
Have
never
you seen
really
the
an adult.
made-for-TV remake?
What, The Shining?
With the
Yeah.
guy from Wings?
Yeah.
No.
Did you ever watch
What?
Wings? I liked watching Wings.
I've watched a few episodes, yeah.
It made Tony Shalhoub's career.
Also made, what's her name's career?
Did it really? If you don't know her name.
Well, she married John Ritter. She was in Dracula Dead
did.
Loving It and The Problem Child.
Problem child.
I would recommend this to specific people.
Yes.
But not
No, you're
generally.
I would give it to. I would recommend it to film buffs, not Joe Blow off.
And
the
I would
street.
also give it with a disclaimer being like, hey,
you need to be ready for some shit.
there are some uncomfortable scenes.
There are.
Many.
I don't know if you would have to give them the disclaimer because it's. I feel like it's
Known.
common knowledge. Yeah, like it's. I mean, this is what it's known.
What's
for.
his name? Alex
DeLarge.
DeLarge? Man, if you have an Alex DeLarge original Funko Pop, that thing is worth an obscene amount
Yes,
of money.
I have an Alex DeLarge. It is
An original?
Nope.
No, because they re-released them.
Yeah, my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, you got this one that's like." I was like, "Really cool." And I looked at it, and no, mine is the re-release.
Yeah, it's like an absurd.
Because there was a defect with it or something, right? That's
well,
why.
they didn't release a lot of them. They're very, very, very rare.
Well, because it's a niche.
I think it was like they made like 40 or 50 of them.
Yeah, and they pulled them pretty quickly because there was like a
Huge backlash.
like a defect, and then they re-released
a
them.
defect.
That's what they were saying. Something with the packaging or the
Oh.
molding.
Removable eyelashes can be swallowed.
Right.
Sorry.
Did he show you the Office pops that they previewed?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kevin's
I
got
guess.
his bucket of chili.
he does. That's one of my favorite scenes.
That is absolutely one of my favorite scenes.
I love how proud he's talking about his chili. You just see him scrape it off the carpet back into the freaking pot.
I'm up all night squeezing poblanos and.
They're actually so rare that I can't find one that's listed at that price.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
But I think it was
It's
like
like-
$7,000 or $8,000.
It's one of
so
the most highly
Yeah.
valued.
my headless Ned Stark that I sold a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They only made like 148 of them, and I kept it for a couple years, and then I sold it because I needed money for something.
Finance.
Yeah, and it was it was a little sad because I think I sold it for 600, but I think now it's up at a few thousand.
I'm sure I wonder if
Don't torture yourself.
I wonder if my cereals have gone up.
Cereals.
My Yummy Mummy Fruit Brute Chocula.
Cereals
Blueberry
are
Frankenberry.
disgusting.
Yeah, they're not good. Headless Ned Stark, $1,800.
Nice.
It is what it is. Prices will go down after the show stops.
Yep. Everybody
The
forgets
prices on Walking Dead stuff is like crashing right now.
Well,
Why?
Popularity of the show is waning.
people are going to
I
leave.
never bought my stuff to resell it anyway. So.
Are they finally caught up with the comic yet?
No, we're a few episodes behind, but the Whisperers are around now.
Oh, so that's a few arcs. Oh,
It was really
that's
cool.
a couple arcs behind.
I
yeah.
won't say who died, but a main character died.
Who die?
But they were like killing off walkers, and they went to like stab a walker, and the walker like dodged and like jabbed him with a knife in the side. And I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. And it was like in a cemetery in the fog. It was like this really like horror-esque.
Did they kind of introduce him like they did in the comics, where like, what was it? Jesus
just hear
is
him
hanging
whispering.
in a ditch, and he hears like what he thinks the walkers are talking.
Yeah, it was Eugene this time around. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Same difference.
And Rosita.
With that said, this will be the first episode of our great movie viewing,
Yes.
The movie Escape.
the movie Escape. And I don't know if I'll put this on the regular one eventually. Maybe after
Maybe in a month.
3 or 4 months, I'll throw it up on the regular one. But for it'll be for Patreon members right
While,
now.
while we're in Vegas,
Yeah.
it'll be your bonus episode. You don't have to pre-record one.
No, I'll pre-record one.
Okay.
We'll get one out that week. We'll just record on Tuesday, and I'll have it up by Thursday night. We're not missing one. We've come out with one every week, and we're recording again this week. So
Yay.
that'll be this week's episode. Should I have a different sign-off? We'll see you at the movies.
Oh,
No.
God.
That's terrible. Don't
Yeah,
end it
don't
there.
ever do that.
Don't do that.
Just did it now.
Thanks for watching.